Good morning, students. In the last class, we have studied about the what are the different positive impact of the economic reform and some points of the negative impact of the economic reform. Okay. So in today's class, we will move to the next negative impact of the economic reform or the limitation of the economic reform. That is disinvestment. Okay. The government every year fixes a target for this investment of the PSEs. For instance, in 1991 to 1992, it was targeted to mobilize 2500 crore through disinvestment. For government, the government was able to mobilize 3040 crore more than the target. This investment initiated by the government policies was not of much success because assets of the public sector undertaking were undervalued and they sold to the private sector. This created substantial loss to the government in 2014 to 15. The target was mobilize rupees 56,000 crore through disinvestment where the achievement was 34,500 crore. It means there has a substantial loss to the government. Okay, so also the proceed from the disinvestment were used to offset the shortage of the government revenue rather than using it for the development of the PSU and building social infrastructure in the country. Okay, let's understand that the government every year fixes a target for the disinvestment of the PSEs. Okay, in every year after the 1991, government fixes the to sold the public sector units to the private sector. So every year government decided that the this amount of money or this shares or equity will be sold to the private sector. For instance, in when we talking about the 1991 to 1992, the government has targeted to mobilize from public to private, that is 2500 crore through disinvestment. The government was to able and mobilized to 3040 crore more than the target, but government was able to disinvest the more than the targeted value. The target value is 2500, but the achieved value it is 3040. So means disinvestment limit is exceeded from the targeted value. This investment initiated by the government policies was not so much of success. Okay, it's not too much successful when the government execute it because asset of the public sector undertaking undervalued. That means कि whatever the price of the any asset, the exact value is not given to the any asset of the government. That means अगर कोई भी asset आपका 50,000 का है या 40,000 का है तो उसकी वैल्यू 40,000 नहीं मिल रही थी. क्या प्राइवेट सेक्टर क्या कर रहा था, उसको 30,000 में ही दे दे रहा था. तो इससे क्या हो रहा था, गवर्नमेंट को लॉस हो रहा था. सो एंड द वैल्यू इज अंडर वैल्यूड. So the public sector, the government will sold the public sector equities or shares to the private sector. This created substantial loss to the government. Okay, when the exact value will be not given to the government, so that it will also lead to the losses for the government. In 2014-15, when we are talking about 14-15 data, the target was mobilized to 56,000 crore through disinvestment. Okay, the target was decided to disinvest rupees 56,000 crore, but the achievement was only 34,500. So it means that there has been substantial loss to the government. Now in 2015 to 14 to 15, the target value of the disinvestment is also not achieved, so that it will create the loss for the government. Also, the proceed from the disinvestment were used to offset the shortage of the government revenue. Okay, from the disinvestment, there is also shortage or loss of the government revenue rather than using it for the development of the PSE. Okay, it is developed or it is created the losses for the government. In place of government uses this money for expending somewhere, the government also suffer from the losses and building social infrastructure of the in the country. Okay, now the country is not capable to building or or the social infrastructure like education and the health facility, because government also suffering from the revenue also. They do not they do not earn so much money, so much revenue, so that they can invest their money somewhere else. That's why the expenditure, the government does not do their expenditure also. Next is reform and fiscal policies. Economic reform have imposed limit on the growth of the public sector, especially in the social sector. Okay. Next is the tax reduction was done due to curb tax evasion and increase in the government revenue, but this policy did not actually result in increase in the tax revenue for the government. Tax incentive were provided to foreign investor to attract foreign investment, which reduced the scope for the raising tax revenue. This has a negative impact on the developmental and the welfare expenditure. Tariff reduction also reduced the scope for the generating revenue through custom duties. Okay. Next is reform and fiscal policies. When we are talking about the reform and fiscal policies, economic reform have imposed limit on the growth of the public expenditure, especially in the social sector. From the introduction of the economic reform, there were certain restrictions as well as limit were imposed on the public sector, especially in the social sector. Okay, there were also some limit were imposed for the public expenditure for the public, so that on that limit on any government will expend their money or spend their money. So the tax reduction was done. Yes, the tax reduction was done to curb tax evasion. Okay, हम लोग ने ये भी पढ़ा था कि टैक्स इवेजन मतलब कि क्या हुआ था, रिडक्शन टैक्स इन जो भी डायरेक्ट टैक्स थे उनका रेट भी क्या कर दिया गया था, रिड्यूस कर दिया गया था, जैसे क्या हो कि लोग जो टैक्स इवेजन करने लगे थे वो ना करें। तो द टैक्स रिडक्शन वाज डन टू कर्ब टैक्स इवेजन, उसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए, एंड इंक्रीज इन द गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू or for the increase in the government revenue, because people were evade their money, don't hide their money from the government, and they were do the tax evasion. For that purpose, government reduces the income tax or the all the direct taxes, that is income tax as well as corporation tax, so that government increase their more and more revenue. But this policy did not actually result in increase in tax revenue of the government. But this policy of the government doesn't give the better result or the good result in the favor of the government does not able to increase their more and more revenue also. Tax incentives were provided to foreign investors to attract foreign investment. Okay, there were several incentives also provided to the foreign investor, the one who are investing their money from the foreign, to attract foreign investment. So different kind of incentive also provided to the different foreign investors, so that they invest their more and more money, which reduce the scope for the raising tax revenue. And but it reduces the scope for raising tax revenue, so that government were not able to increase their tax revenue, because there were several tax incentives were provided to the foreign investors. This has a negative impact on the developmental and welfare expenditure. Okay, what it leads the negative impact on the developmental and welfare expenditure. Okay, it gives the negative result on the developmental as well as what all the welfare expenditures. Tariff reduction also reduced the scope for generating revenue through custom duties. Okay, tariff reduction also reduced. Okay, there were through the custom duties, government also generate their government revenue, but there were too much reduction is given on the custom duty, so that more and more foreign investor will attract to the to do more foreign investment, so that it also reduce the स्कोप फॉर दी जनरेटिंग मोर एंड मोर रेवेन्यू फॉर दी गवर्नमेंट. देखिए क्या हुआ, टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स जो प्रोवाइड हुए, टैक्स इंसेंटिव्स की वजह से क्या हुआ, जो भी कस्टम ड्यूटीज़ और जो भी टैक्स लग रहा था वो भी क्या हुआ, रिड्यूस कर दिया गया. वो रिड्यूस इसलिए किया गया कि जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स हैं वो क्या हों, अट्रैक्ट हों और वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट करें इंडिया में. बट इसका रिज़ल्ट ये हुआ कि गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारे इंसेंटिव्स प्रोवाइड करने पे उनको बहुत सारी की सब्सिडीज़ प्रोवाइड हो गई फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर को, तो गवर्नमेंट का जो रेवेन्यू है वो क्या हो गया, रिड्यूस हो गया. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज इंक्रीज इन इनइक्वालिटीज़. आई थिंक इट इज़ द लास्ट टॉपिक ऑफ योर chapter 3, that is LPG. Okay, now increase in inequalities. Globalization is a strategy of the developed country to expand their market in other countries. Market driven globalization has widened the economic disparities among the nations and the people. Economic reform increased the income and quality consumption of only high income groups. Thus, the growth has been concentrated only in the some select areas in the service sector, such as information technology, finance, travel, hospitality, etc., rather than the vital sectors such as agriculture and industries. Okay, globalization is a strategy of the developed countries. Okay, we know very well it is the strategy which comes from the developed country like USA and other developed countries. So it is the strategy which comes from the developed country, because they want to expand their market, and in India also they want to expand their market in other countries. So market driven globalization has widened the economic disparities among the nation and the people. Okay, when any developed country want to expand their market in all over the country, they increase as well as they widened the economic disparities among the nation as well as the people. वो क्या हुआ कि वाइडन करने के मार्केट को बहुत एक्सपेंड करने के वजह से क्या हुआ कि जो सारे ये ऐसे क्रिएट हो गया कि अब क्या था कि बहुत ज़्यादा इकोनॉमिक डिस्पैरिटीज़ हो गई किसके बीच में, जो भी डिफरेंट नेशंस थे, एज वेल एज अमंग द नेशन, मीन कि नेशन के बीच में, एज वेल एज द जो पीपल थे उनके बीच में क्या था, डिस्पैरिटीज़ क्रिएट कर दिया. इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म इंक्रीज द इनकम एंड क्वालिटी कंजप्शन ऑफ only high income groups. Okay, whatever the economic reform were introduced in 1991, it increased the income and quality consumption only for the high income group. The one who has the high income, it due to economic reform, it increases the income as well as quality consumption of goods only for the high income group who has high income group, but it doesn't create too much impact on the poor people. Thus, growth has been concentrated only in some select areas in the service sector, as such as information technology, finance, travel, hospitality, etc., rather than vital sector such as agriculture and industry. Okay, so the growth has been done only in the some selected area, basically in the service sector like IT sector, finance, travel, banking, hospitality, but it ignores in the development of the agriculture as well as the industrial sector. Okay, from this we have completed the chapter 3, but now once we can recapitulate all the topics from the first topic of the LPG. Yes, in this chapter we have already studied that what are the economic reform, why there our need for the economic reform. What are the new economic policy? We already studied about the liberalization. In the liberalization, there were reform comes under the different sectors like industrial, financial, fiscal, foreign exchange, as well as trade and investment. We have already studied the what are the privatization, what are the different positive impact of privatization as well as negative impact of privatization. Next is globalization. What is globalization? What are the different policy measures undertaken under the globalization? What are the different positive impact as well as negative impact of globalization? What is outsourcing? What is WTO? What are the different functions of the WTO? And an appraisal of the LPG policies means what a positive impact of the LPG policies, as well as we have already studied the limitation of the economic reform. Okay, let's start with the we know very well in 1948 mixed in IPR Industrial Policy Resolution 1958, that was mixed economy was introduced, in which the role of both public sector as well as private sector were be there in India. So from all these whatever the economic reform has been done, whatever the result of the reform under the 1952 1990, but there were not too much progressive report of the whatever the different policies. For that purpose, government has think that there should be a policy which is related to the develop all over the economy. For that reason, in 1991, India was met with the economic crisis, resulting to the increase is the external debt. Means Indian government has also taken too much debt from the external sectors. So it will result in the fall of the foreign exchange reserve also uh, fall, and this crisis compounded only rising price of the essential good, so that the price of the all goods become increases. So for that reason, economic reform in 1991 were introduced. Okay, now new economic policy adopted in India in 1991. So the basic need, why there were need for the economic reform, there were several needed, because to overcome from the economic crisis, we have to overcome from the all the economic problem. And what are the different problem? First one is fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit means ki when the government expenditure, it shows the difference between the government expenditure and the government revenue. When the expenditure of the government is more than the government revenue, it is called the fiscal deficit. And government would take loan from the financial resources of the India, as well as the different financial institutions of the foreign countries also, like IMF, World Bank. So that government has faced the debt trap, means government will trapped with the too much loan taken from the other institution. For that, fiscal deficit of the government is too much increases. And next is adverse balance of payment. Balance of payment means it is the difference between the outflow of the inflow of the foreign exchange and the outflow of the foreign exchange. It is the difference between when the outflow of the foreign exchange become the more than the inflow of the foreign exchange, then the any balance of payment POP becomes the adverse. So it is also one of the reason for the economic reform. Next is fall in foreign exchange reserve. When we have taken the too much goods from the other country, that means we have imported too much goods, so that we have to make the payment in the foreign currency. So that there were also fall in foreign exchange reserve, because we have to give the payment in the foreign currency. For that reason, the outflow of the foreign exchange become the more than the inflow of the foreign exchange. It is the also one of the reason for the economic reform. Next is rise in prices or inflation. Okay, there were also rise in prices of the all the product, so that because of the shortage of the aggregate supply, because aggregate demand of the people will become too much as comparison to the shortage of the supply. So that government want to pay all the debt of the other country, so that government take the loan from the RBI. Said that the government said that the RBI to give the loan or money. At that situation, government, sorry, Reserve Bank of India provide the sorry, introduce a new currency in the market. It is called the deficit financing, and deficit financing leads to increase in the money supply in the market, so that people have all, when the people have too much money, the aggregate demand of the people will also lead. And but if the aggregate supply will does not reach up to the aggregate demand, so that it leads to the rise in prices. It is also one of the reason for the economic reform. Next is poor performance of the public sector undertaking. Public sector continued, they are not, they are all, they most of the time and most of these several year they have incurred huge loss because of the government, because there were difficult to close undertaking. But the government, when the any public sector or incur the different huge losses, still government does not able to uh, wind up all the public sector because of the close government undertaking, even if it is a drain of the nation's limited resources. Okay, a government in not condition to wind up all the public sector undertaking. Next is inefficient management. Okay, the management of the management is also not good of the Indian economy in the 1980s, because the expenditure of the government is too much as comparison to the government revenue. Due to faulty management, rules and law which aimed at the controlling and regulating the economy ended up ended, ended up with the obstacle in the growth and the development of the any economy. So that for that all these reasons, the new economic policy was introduced in 1991, and the government has taken the loan from the World Bank as well as International Monetary Fund, about $7 billion, to manage all the crises which the country has faces. Therefore, in order to overcome from the economic crisis, India accelerate or move to the new path of new economic growth, that is called new economic policy 1991. It was introduced in the July 1991. There were the set of policies classified into two: stabilization and the structural. Stabilization means stable all over the economy, as well as stable the price of the price, or that means inflation, control the inflation, increase the balance of payment, that means outflow should be equal to the inflow, as well as increase the foreign exchange reserve. So that it is the stabilization process, it is the only for the short term. And the structural reform measures, it is for the long term, in which government want to improve the efficiency. Basically, government want to improve the efficiency of the economy, as well as increase the competition among the different institutions or the different industries, so that they all are able to encourage to produce, as well as the product of the those industries will be more effective and efficient. For that purpose, government has introduced the three policies in under the NEP 1991. First one is liberalization, privatization, and the globalization. Okay, so liberalization is it is the in rules and regulation which were aimed at regulating the economic activities become major hindrance in the this. So government what will do it under the liberalization government end all the restrictions which were made on the doing the any business, as well as opening or doing the any doing the business, so that they open all the various sector of the economy. All the restrictions, all the rules and regulation are comes to an end, and open the all over the sector for the economy, under which the reform were liberalized. That is, first one is first one is industrial sector, second is financial sector, third is fiscal tax reform, fourth is foreign exchange reform, and fifth one is trade and investment policy reform. These are all are the reform which introduced in the liberalization. Okay. Next is these all are the first one is industrial sector reform, in which there were abolition of the industrial licensing, the licensing which were necessary for the promoting or producing any commodity or expanding the their commodity, as well as diversifying the any agricultural product. For that reason, there were need to taken the license from the government, but now it is come to an end. There is no need for the taking the license. Decrease in the role of public sector. Now the role of the public sector is also decreases. The reservation of the public sector production by the small scale industries. Under the when we are talking about the economic reform between the 1950 to 1990, there were some goods are reserved for the public small scale industries. Now these products are not reserved for the small scale industries. Price determination by the market forces. Now the market forces, that is demand and supply, decided the price. Import of the capital goods. Firstly, there were restrictions on the import of the capital good due to inward looking trade policy by the different tariff and quotas. Now capital goods or the consumer goods, they all are easily imported in our country. Next is financial sector reform, in which there is role of RBI. First, RBI's function or role as a regulator, but now it has they has changed their role. Now it has the like a facilitator. All the restrictions which were made on to different commercial bank, it all also ended. Establishment of also private sector banks. There were also foreign investment. Foreign investor also invest their money in the India, setting up the new branches. Now there, first of all, before 1991, there were need of the approval from the RBI to open any branches, but now there were all the restrictions were removed. Next is fiscal tax reform, in which reduction in direct tax. There should be a direct reduction in the direct tax or the in income tax, as well as corporation tax. If the tax will be reduced, so that the tax evasion will also be hampered. Next is reform in direct tax also happened. Simplification of tax paying procedure, goods and services tax. Next is foreign exchange reform, in which there were devaluation of rupee. Devaluation of rupee means when reduction in the value of the foreign currency in relation to the foreign currency. That means whenever the price, whenever the rate is decided by the government or the demand forces, market forces, sorry, that is $1 equal to rupees 50. Now with the introduction, with the help of the from the devaluation, the value become the $1 equal to $1 equal to rupees 60 or 70. Okay, so that it will leads to the import cost here, because we have to pay the 60 or 70 rupees in place of 50, and it will encourage the export, because now America can buy more goods, buy goods worth rupees 60 instead of goods worth rupees 50 from $1 with the $1 from the India. Okay, it will also encourage the export, and import become the costlier. There were also determination of the foreign exchange rate. First of all, foreign exchange rate was decided by the government, but after 1991, the market forces will decide the foreign exchange rate, a trade and investment policy in which break down all the restrictions which were made on the import as well as export, reduction of tariff rate also, and removal of licensing procedure for import. There were also, before 1991, there were import license were also needed, but after 1991 there were also removal of licensing procedure for the import. Next is removal of export duties. Privatization means the shedding of the ownership of the management of a government owned enterprises. That means refers the all the ownership management of the public sector to the private sector. These all are the positive impact, that is improve the efficiency of management, financial discipline, reduction in deficit, competitiveness, diversification of production, increase in FDI. And what are the different negative impact? First one is neglect of social interest, highly priced goods, monopolistic control, hindrance in achieving the objective of full employment. Globalization means the globalization is the outcome of the liberalization as well as the privatization. It creates the world into one whole as well as it create the borderless economy or borderless world. Now, what different policy measures are: rise in equity limit participation of the foreign investment, devaluation of rupee, convertibility of Indian rupee, removal of control on the foreign trade, modification of tariff, modification in technology agreement. Now, what are the different positive impact of the globalization? There were also negative impact of the globalization, that it creates the economic disparities between the nation as well as the people also. Outsourcing, when the company hire regular services from the external sources, mostly from the other country, it is called the outsourcing. From the introduction of the globalization, it is easier for all over the country so that they can hire the different services from the other countries. Next is WTO. WTO was founded in 1995. It was the successor organization of the GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. It decided that all the countries will optimize the utilization of the resources and also remove the tariff as well as non-tariff barriers, and also initiate and create the bilateral as well as multilateral trade. Bilateral trade means a trade between the two countries. A multilateral trade means a trade between the many countries. So there were also Indian economic reform, in which their argument in favor of first one is increase in the growth rate of economy. From the different LPG policies, the growth rate of economies also increases. Next is structural changes. Structural changes means a contribution is shifted from the primary to secondary sector, as well as the growth of the service sector is also increased. Increase in foreign direct investment and foreign exchange reserve. From the LPG policy, there were also increase in the foreign direct investment as well as increase in the foreign exchange reserve also. There were also promotion of export, control on inflation, control on fiscal deficit, reduction in deficit and balance of payment. Now there some are also the negative impact of the economic reform. From the NEP 1991, there were also contradiction between the growth and development. There were also adverse effect on the agriculture as well as industry, and the disinvestment also create. And there were also ineffectiveness of the fiscal policies, too much tax intensive incentives provided so that government does not increase their revenue also. And the last one is it also increases the inequalities between the nation, people, as well as different it is basically give the most advantage to the highly income group and ignore the low level people or of the country. So it's all about the chapter 3 LPG policies. In the next class we will continue, we will start a new chapter.